The glory of our Pharaoh, Ramses II, pervades the land. So that the legacy of his reign will live forever, it has been decreed that a great monument and temple dedicated to his rule be constructed deep in Nubia. And Pharaoh himself has selected the perfect spot for this creation. From the rose-colored sandstone cliffs overlooking the Nile's west bank at Abu Simbel, you will oversee the sculpting of 4 massive seated figures of His Majesty. Surfaces of the monument, cut from the living rock, will proclaim the heroic deeds of Pharaoh during his great triumph at the Battle of Kadesh. This massive monument, while heralding the heroics of our leader, will also serve as a reminder to the peoples of Nubia of the greatness and power of Egypt. For while Nubia is rich in deposits of gold and other rare gems, its people have always sat uneasily under Egyptian dominion. To this end, you should be ever prepared for defense, and be able to dispatch troops should Pharaoh need them. Sandstone can be exported for construction elsewhere in the kingdom, as can other items that you should be able to produce from the bountiful resources of the region. Precious little wood can be found, however. You will no doubt have to establish a trade route to import this commodity, for it will be needed for the immense sculpture's scaffolding.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Land of the Pharaohs. I'm Sajuuk, and we're going to be heading into Abu Simbel, the Colossi of Abu Simbel, which is quite interesting. That monument actually still exists, but they had to move it when it was in the modern era. Where Abu Simbel currently is actually not its original place, and they had to move it back a bit when they were flooding that area and damming it for like Nasser. So it's actually just a little bit off, but you could go. I've never actually seen Abu Simbel in real life, but I do know someone who has been there. So yeah, so we've got 2,200 population. That's a really odd number, which means that we're going to have probably 2 housing blocks. Excuse me, folks. Prosperity 35, culture 35, kingdom 80, again a high kingdom rating, and that monument is worth a lot, is 44 points. It looks as if we can't get any wood, but there are sandstone. I'm not too sure where we need sandstone, maybe we just need wood. We're going to continue on hard mode, let's head to the city. And oh, look at this. We have an infantry fort available from the previous mission. Now, we don't always get this, it depends on how well you do on it, but the best soldiers of the infantry fort will come over from the previous mission. That's actually quite useful. So we don't have to build too much military. It does say that we're going to have military. So we do have a fort. That's not a problem. Just pause. So the Kingdom Road is right here. And we've got some cliffs. I don't think we're going to be building it there because it only faces one direction. So we have to put it there and we have to cross the Nile. We're pretty much all the spaces. And so again with the reeds, I mean, look at that, a tiny little bit of reeds up there, and we have to have malaria risk. I hate it. Lots of floodplain though, it's quite expansive. What can we grow here? Figs and barley, so we can make our own food. We can also make our own beer. Raw materials are clay pits and such, so we can make our own pottery and beer. And given that we can't go above spacious apartment because there's no education, it means that anything above that, so luxury goods, linen or anything that we might be able to make, we can just sell. They're not going to be used in the city. Not a lot of space. Can we hide the cliffs a second? Yeah, there are some rocks here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use them. I could just set up a little bit of a thing up here, but I'm not too sure. So Abu Simbel is pretty much going to go there. It can't go anywhere else. It's just along this little space here. It's an interesting monument. We will time lapse it. Since we can import flax and gems, so we can just sell their commodities off. Wood is also going to be required. What's the price of it? Quite expensive, 225, not too good. Okay, so we can sell beer and pottery, that's pretty much our exports. Carpenter stone masons a supply, which we don't need sandstone for this, it's like a sphinx, basically. You just import wood and they carve it out. Let's have a look. Can't build transport ships. We are going to need this for troop requests later, but there's not a lot of coastline. I can get maybe, I think, 1 transport ship over here with a couple elsewhere. But we'll see. What's our trade route? So we're down here at Abu Simbel. He sells gems. They also buy pottery and linen. That's quite useful. We're going to have to import linen and flax anyway. Kerma buys linen. That's quite useful. Pwenet buys beer and linen. They also sell gems. Wast sells flax and buys luxury goods. That's actually quite useful. We can import gems from He At the same time as we buy linen from Wast from the imported flax there. So we've got a synergy right there. Het and Wast sell and buy their own commodities. Mennefer sells wood. What? Now, you know how I said that in Tutmos in the Valley that they sell random commodities that don't make sense? Here's an example. Back in, way back in the Archaic period, it was pretty much established that there is no construction grade timber to be found in Egypt apart from the oases. Why the hell does Mennefer have wood? Where did that come from? They do buy luxury goods and sandstone, which we could sell. It's not worth a lot, but we might as well sell it. Pyramus is, I think, the capital of Ramses. Only appears in these last two missions. We've also got Sumer up here. Very expensive water trade route to import a ton of wood. They only buy a bit of linen. So we could probably just trade with Mennefer. And that'll be fine. I think additional trade routes will open up, so it's not a concern. I think we can also import straw, I saw there. Yeah, we can import straw and produce meat, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to focus on the figs. We're not going to go up that high, so there really is no point. So I'll probably do all fig farming here and all barley farming on this side. There's plenty of space. So there are some unique events on this map, which we will look at. So given that we have to cross it now regardless of what we do, I'm just going to go ahead and set up a housing area. We are just going to go for line housing. We're not going to go for big blocks or anything. There's no point. There's not enough space on this map to do a big block. So we'll just do a couple of line housing blocks. And I'll just go and draw them out. And we'll come back in once it's done. Okay, so we're starting to plan out the cities. We've got a housing line right here. I have made it just a little bit shorter because we don't need so many buildings. I've calculated, well, just worked out basically, that we only require a small number of 2x2 buildings. We only need a bazaar, water supply, physician, and if necessary later a tax office. Now we can put the tax office anywhere. I'm actually just going to put down a couple of extra houses just here because we want to make sure that this line is covered as well. And because we don't need too many resources to evolve, we only need to provide a very small amount of stuff. And I've also forgotten to check the gods, so that's not a problem. Osiris, Ra, Ptah, and of course this is Ramses II. He is a Ra fan, he is the patron, so that's pretty much a straight off guess. Now, I don't think I need to evolve the housing too high. If I need to evolve them higher, and up to special department, I can just replace this with a pavilion, but I don't think I'm going to need much more than this, which is fine. We'll just put down a police station there. Now, this is where our industry is going to be. We're going to have clay pits and all that over this bit because there's so much water space here that there's a lot of space to put these things down. It shouldn't be a problem. Up here we'll have not clay pits. Well, sandstone quarries up here. And we'll just have a yard somewhere that's just accepting it. And we'll have pottery, linen, and all that just made down in this space. I may have to extend down here as well, because we are going to need a shipwright at some point. We'll just put that in a place that I can make good use of. And we'll just see how that goes. Is this irrigated? It is irrigated by me putting that like that. Now I'm just going to do straight lines. There's no point doing anything fancy with this floodplain. There's more than enough space. I'm not too sure if this is the right layout, but if it's not, that's fine. I can just sort that later. I don't know, but I can just sort this up a little bit, which is not a problem. Let's just put a physician right here. Okay, so with the people are coming in, hopefully there's enough housing to get everything started. We're going to just go straight into pottery straight off because it's a cheap trade route to open up to Het. And they also sell us gems later once we've sold out all our pottery, which allows us to then go into Wast as a trade route as well. So yeah, let's just keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, our pottery production is going quite nicely now. We are just bringing this down quite nicely as we continue. The gods might get a little bit upset, so I'm just going ahead and put down a couple of shrines and temples to them. I've also gone ahead and put down a second line housing area because we do need the employment. We're only just about to run out of immigrants, which is not too good. I've also got a bunch of figs getting harvested. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know we can support another 3 farms, but we're just going to leave it at that just to make sure there's good production. Flood last year wasn't too good. This next one's only going to be mediocre. But if we start to stockpile on the figs, that'll be good. Now the granary's going to go there. It may be moved up a bit further, but there I think is probably good enough. We just want them to go straight into the storage yard and use up that stuff. I don't want to put stuff here because it's a good place to put down things like breweries and all that kind of stuff. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do all the industry. I've also got an option of just extending the road this way and having a little bit of hut housing here. And then I can have some more industry over here, like beer or something. So if I had a road there, I'd be 1, 2, 1. It wouldn't be a good amount of stuff, but I could at least try to make something over there. I could even do gems or linen or something over there. I want to have all my profitable things near the docks. I think if I remember correctly, beer is exported by land trade routes, not water. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, beer is exported on the land trade routes. I don't even need to have that here. I could even have that over here, because I'm going to grow most of my beer here. And because it's exported by land trade route, I only need to have a getting yard over here just to bring it closer. Because I could time that easily with having a yard just down here to get the pottery and beer that these guys will require. I can then just have like all my export industries just here, which is fine. We haven't opened up a trade route yet. We're not even in debt. We have spent a lot of money and we have not actually hit debt yet, which is good. Now we have got pottery, but I want to wait until we've got a nice supply of it before we start to export anything. Because there's quite a lot of water trade routes on this map, we've got Kerma, He, Wast and Menefer. We are going to have 2 docks, and there's only space on this map for basically 2 docks. We are going to need a shipwright just here, which will support 3 transport wharfs. Because it makes no sense to provide a transport wharf when a warship is clearly superior, so there's obviously a reason behind it. So once I've produced 1200 pottery, I will open up the trade route to Karma and we'll start to sell it, and then we can start making some profit, which will allow us to work on our imports exports. This map is quite heavily focused on the import-export stuff, so importing a raw material, producing something from it and selling it on. We can import gems and flax by this route, and they produce linen and luxury goods. They are also items that they will be asked for, so we are going to have to try and get into them quite early on. First of all though, our target is to start making some money, so I'll come back in once we're ready to start making some money, unless something happens. Okay, so we made quite a bit of pottery. We've got 1700 pottery waiting to be sold. We're about to hit debt, so let's just go ahead and open up this trade route to He and just sell it all. We don't have any use for it right now. And then we'll buy up all of that. Now I've also gone ahead and put down a couple of extra clay pits, just so we can start to put down more potters. I can put down another 2 here, and that still leaves space for yards here. Now we had just got into debt, but it's not a problem. This currently is just a bit too close, so I am going to move it. With the money that we get off of the sale of pottery to He, we should be able to start sorting out some of the temporary building constructions that we had. Also gets rid of some of the undesirability of this location as well. Hopefully there's enough usage out of this bazaar that they can get rid of all that. Employees needed is not too good, but that's going to be sorted as people move in, so that's not a problem. So I'll just sell off all 1200 pottery in one fair swoop. We should get a lot of money from this. There we go, so we've got 1000, so that's not too bad. And the next trade boat will come round and buy up another 1200 as well, so it's not too bad. But the things that are left, I'm just going to empty them because I don't want to waste the production. Next flood's not going to be too good, but that's not a problem, because it isn't a problem. The next sale of pottery that we get will allow us to start setting up our beer industry. Beer is going to be important, but not right now. Just later on in the mission, that's all. So yeah, we've got exports going. It's not going to be too much of a problem. I do want to get some gems imported. I do know that there are some early requests for luxury goods and I want to fulfill them, but gems are quite expensive to import. So yeah, let's just keep on going and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, what's this? The people of Karga Oasis are losing hope, for famine has struck there and its people are starving. Said 700 jars of figs in 12 months. Now, this event is clearly timed as soon as the flood happens, because if we just slow time down, they're harvesting already. So we can fulfill this very easily by the time that they deposit it. So you don't even need the 12 months. It's going to be fulfilled very quickly. We are just going to allow them to deposit all the figs and then just send them off straight away. There we go. So we didn't even need to wait for that one. We have gone ahead and just set up our barley and beer brewing industry. It's going to go right here because, well, all of our land capacity, all of our selling capacity for beer is basically by land. There is no water trade for that, so it's not a problem. Now we just need to increase our beer, our pottery selling capacity. I think we should be able to sell out all of it. There we go. So it's another 1,000. So we are selling out our pottery there. We just need to increase that a bit more. So having beer here means we don't have to have so much clutter over here, and it means that this area can just pretty much be for all that stuff. Now, how are the gods do? I did delete a temple to Ptah, so I'm going to have to put that back. And I'll just put it here because it's not... that's the wrong temple. We'll just put it here because we have no use for it. And it just serves quite well there. Let's see, what else can we do? We can evolve more housing, I think, but let's check out employment. We have a little bit of unemployment, so let's just put down more housing. Like so. Now the gods are getting a little bit upset, so let's just make sure they don't get too more upset. We'll put down... I keep building temples. It's Ra. Put 2 Ra, 1 Osiris, 1 Ptah. And what I can do is just over here I can set up another little area for maybe storage or something. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it, but we have sold out all of our pottery for the year, so we are going to remain in debt for a little while, which is not too good. So we're going to have to wait off on doing anything else before anything happens. Let's just see. I'm going to put linen storage yard here. Because we don't need linen in the city, I'm just going to have flax and linen in the same yard. Because it literally has no use in the city. Let's just check. 1, 2... I could put down a lot of weavers in this corner, but I'm going to give it thinking time. So for now, we're just going to have to let head go through and give us no problems. Let's see. Several jugs of figs have opened up a trade route to Cargo Oasis. Let's have a look there. They buy pottery and beer, so we can just open up that trade route and sell more pottery actually. It's a land trade route as well, so that's even more useful. We'll just continue to sell the pottery there, because we don't have beer production right now, so it's not a problem. They will have to cross over, but that's fine. As long as we're selling pottery, we are going to be getting money. And I think we'll have 800 pottery in time for them as well. And I'm going to have to increase the amount of clay we're producing, because we're not producing enough. Because these guys are quite far away. That's 2 in there that I can have. Yeah, 3 more up here, which is not a problem. I'll have to wait for our exports though. So Cargo Oasis is going to buy 800 pottery. That should give us a bit of money. We should be able to start working on our beer industry after the next flood, which is going to be good. That's even better. So we just need to evolve our people, start to get that going. And yeah, we just need to work on our exports. That's our concern right now. Okay, this is interesting. Because you could use some help, the city of Wast wants to give me 1,500 rolls of linen. Now, we don't have a use for linen in the city because there's no required to provide it to the housing. And we don't need it for culture because we only need a 35 culture rating. So I'm very suspicious that they're going to ask for something by me accepting this, but I'm going to accept it anyway. And there you go. Because I accepted the gift of 1,500 rolls of linen, I need to send 800 pouches of luxury goods in 11 months. Now, we don't have any gems in the city, so we are going to have to hope that we can get 800 gems very quickly. Now, we can't do that from Heth because they do sell us gems, but we're going to sell off all linen first. And we'll just have to start producing gems, it looks like. Oh, pardon me, sorry folks. Now we are going to have multiple trade routes open to places that sell us gems, so we're going to have plenty open eventually to sell more beer and linen. But right now we're just going to sell linen and then import gems. So let's just, oops, I'm pressing the wrong button again. We can have a yard here accepting gems and jewellery. Like so. But once it's sold out all the way, then we'll import the gems, because then it'll be a counterbalance. We're still in debt, but that's not a problem. So let's just sell all the linen. There we go, instant money. Now we're going to just set this to import to maintain 800 gems, like so. Once you've done that, you will then sell me the 800 gems I require. And then we will use that to start funding our jewellery production, which I can have 2 of them right here. 2. There we go, so we don't need any more gems, so we're just going to stop that import for now. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 of them, and that should be fine. I will move the gems somewhere else. I'll probably move it up here. I'll leave all this space for linen, because we can sell a lot of linen on this map. We can sell 2,500 there. We can also sell 1,500 there. So that's 4,000. No, actually, we can sell another 2,500 there. So that's 6,500 linen a year. That's quite useful. We can also sell another 1,500, but we're not trading with Sumer anyway. It's a waste. So we just need to get our jewellery production going. They are quite slow, so I hope that we can get that within the time. I don't want to run out of time for these things because it's not good for the city. So yeah, let's just keep on going. We've got our barley production going, so we can now just set up beer. So let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 2 later maybe. But we have to evolve our housing first. So yeah, let's just keep on going. We'll get that request fulfilled, hopefully within time. Okay, we just managed to produce the 800 luxury goods just in the nick of time. We'll just send them off. We are going to continue that import, but I'm not going to do that right now. What I'm going to do is, given that we can only sell luxury goods to land, is it land trade partners? Let's just have a quick look. It's only to a water trade route that we can sell these, so I may have it over here because all of our gems come from, I don't think it really matters. What I'm going to do is delete these because I want linen near here because that's better in the long run. I'm going to actually just put a roadblock right there and just draw a road out this way. And the reason for that is just because we want to have some production over here. Let's put down 2 houses there, and then we'll just have a firehouse and architect's post right there. And I'll just draw this road up because it gives us more space. We'll just put down the police station there and the apothecary right there. It's going to be an excellent addition. Also, there was a raise just earlier. It went up to 32. I've just put it 2 above because that's easier. And what we're going to have is just basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll have that. We'll have all the jewellery production over here because then it doesn't matter because these take so long to produce. I'm not concerned. This is going to get beer later when we need it, and the kingdom ratings go up. That's nice. Now we are feeding everyone figs, which is good. We're going to have a lot of unemployment coming in. I think it's time now that we start considering our linen industry. So let's just put down a whole load of these. Let's just delete that because what I'm going to do is just put down the shipwright here, and we're going to have a weaver here and a weaver up here. So we're going to just get rid of that little bit there, and then we're going to have this just like so. Now I'm just going to make sure that they fit. That's 1, that's 2. Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of linen production. We're just going to import tons of flax. Oops, sorry, I didn't try quick there. I meant to left click and drag down. So we're going to import the flax from Wast here. 1,200 flax will be enough, I think. If needed, I could just have... Actually, you know what? Let's just have flax. Let's have linen here, and we'll have spillover flax, like so. There we go. Now, we are in debt. That's not a problem whatsoever. Yes, we're starting to work on our industries now, I think. Let's see. 80 shorts, that's not too good, but we will be solving that with evolving houses, which is good. We can actually just turn off flax right now because, well, linen for now because we don't need it. And I suppose we could just focus the employment on beer. So yeah, let's just keep on going. We are pretty much hovering in and out of debt as we can, as we sell pottery and all that. So yeah, let's just keep on going. Okay, this is a very interesting event. A river of blood. Woe unto us. The waters, once the source of life and nourishment, are poisoned with blood. How long will it be until this vulgar blight is lifted? We'll just slow this down. Now, it doesn't look as if anything's happening, but it is going to do an absolute shit ton to our city. It actually causes all the water supplies to stop working. So we are going to have a mass development very soon because of this river blood. Now, the river is going to change colour. Don't worry about that. It's not a bug. It is actually going to do something. I've also gone ahead and put down some entertainment for everyone, so we're now up to ordinary cottage, which is good. Gives us more employment because we are going to need it. We have put down pretty much all the beer production we need. There you go. There goes the river of blood. Lovely and red. And that causes, as far as I understand, everyone to die much faster because it's not clean. So the water supply, you can see here is going past the houses, but the water is not going up. So he's not providing any water to anyone, so they are dying pretty quickly. Also, malaria risk goes up very quickly as well. As you can see, a whole bunch of stuff's just happened there. We just have a look. The malaria risk will be going up all over the city, especially at houses very close to the river. You can see these houses have become infected as well. They won't be, but there's a house that's pretty much going to be disease-ridden very soon. In fact, it's gems. I think it's just because I haven't put down a thing here. That's probably why that is. Never mind. But yeah, malaria risk goes up very fast near the water when it's poisoned like this. It's even gone into the reeds as well, even worse. And water supplies no longer actually carry anything to the population. So they're all going to run out of water and they will devolve. Which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it's going to be. So that's one of the special events. Here we go. We're going to have a house run out of water very soon. In fact, if I just put down a well right here, what does it say? Oh, it doesn't say anything because it is no longer provided water from there. When it runs out, it will. Let's just see. This no longer has a supply of water, so it is pretty much dead. So there you go. There's that event. It covers up all the water in red water. It just turns the water red and causes malaria risk to go up near the houses here, and results in all the water supplies no longer working. I don't think even this will work. Not visited by a water carrier. Go on, what level are you going to go to? Okay, it goes down to Converse Shanty, but if you have a well, if you don't have a well, it will drop to pretty much crude hut. So there you go, there's a bit of interesting stuff here. That River of Blood could do some damage if it doesn't clear up soon. Oh, before we go, we've got a request here. Just as the River of Blood ended. To celebrate its many achievements, Pharaoh's buildings have been so massive that he needs you to send 34 blocks of sandstone to Pyramid within 12 months. That's rather annoying because we can only store 32 blocks of sandstone in a yard, but I think we should be able to do it. So, what's this? This is accepting linen. Let's just go ahead and put down 4 sandstone quarries up here, like so. Where to stockpile it? For now, I'm just going to put it here. This will be deleted, don't worry. And I'll have a sandstone getting yards down here just because we can't fit that amount up there. So I'll make that a sandstone request and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, what's this? Kerma is in need of 700 figs in 6 months. We do have plenty of that. Still working on these things here, but unfortunately the houses weren't working, obviously, because of that issue with the River of Blood. Now, one thing to note is I'm going to just start here by saying this segment that you're watching at this point is actually separate recording, and because of that I've run into the Cleopatra carryover troops bug. So when I put this infantry fort down, even though I should get, say, I think it's 12 troops from the previous mission, it will actually give me none because I have to build that fort before I quit the game. So just so you know, I will have to start my troops from nothing. And I might as well do it here because, you know, it's something to show. It's part of the mission. I'm going to just put in a second dock right now. We don't need so many weavers, so I have got rid of the intersection. It was here, so we can now start to provide stuff here. Now, I've also gone ahead and started to provide pottery to this housing block. And I think we can also just go ahead and provide pottery to this housing, well, housing line, rather. It's not a block, really. You just need to go and get the pottery eventually. Whenever you make that decision. Oh, you've got the pottery now, so you're just going to go and distribute it here. Okay, cool. We've got plenty of beer. Now, I am going to have to import copper. Now, we can do that from Pwerit because other places are really expensive. Actually, we can't get copper from anywhere else, so we do have to open up Pwerit. So let's just go ahead and open Pwerit. They are at least useful in the fact that they will buy some beer, so they will pay for themselves. Once we have all the sandstone, I will just send that off. I'm going to delete this yard and put it somewhere else. I may move this clay pit and just put 2 clay pits. In fact, let's just do that. Let's just do 2 clay pits there. And then I don't need this. We can delete that and replace it with a shrine to Ra somewhere else. And because we sent the 700 jars of figs, they're going to pay us 343 demons. That's very useful, thanks. We are going to just put that Ra shrine down here. The physician's going to have to go somewhere. Now, I'm not too sure where I'm going to put it, because there pretty much is no space left on this thing to build it, so we'll have to look at that. And but we'll see. I've also got some quarrying down here, so we will be able to just pretty much produce as much as we can, and we should be able to meet that in time. So we are evolving houses, which is the main thing, and we can just put down a whole bunch of plaza there just to plaza up all of this. I'm actually just going to delete that well that's in there because we don't need it. We should actually be able to hit 2,000 without needing to build any more housing, so we will just keep an eye on it. I am actually going to have to build down a recruiter and the archer and infantry force. We'll build down a couple of forts of each just to make sure that we have enough to cover the invasion. There is only one invasion, thankfully. How much beer have we sold? We sold all 1,500, so we sold out everything. We just need to sell it a bit more pottery. We do need to produce a bit more. And in fact, let's just delete. Let's see. I'm just trying to think about how to visualize this. Can I put in a... I'm going to move the physician to here. Delete that, and I'm going to replace it with a weaver. And what we're going to do is we're going to delete one of the weavers and replace it with a potter. 2,000 people, so we're 200 short. I think we should get enough people out of this, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. So we're going to get the blocks of sandstone fairly quickly, and let's just delete that. Why would I have the thing there? Let's say that was sandstone. Let's just set this to get all sandstone like so. Empty, and you can just put it whatever. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clay pits, an awful lot. I don't think we need that many. I'm gonna have to visualize where I'm gonna put these things because I am sort of running into a space issue here. The alternative is that I delete this granary and put it somewhere else. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I am just going to move the roadblock back a bit, like so, and I'll just put the granary here instead. So as to get figs, this can just be set to empty figs. I'll just put in an extra firehouse and architect's post just here, and that will provide us two more slots there. If we have gone into debt, which is not useful. Now let's just check. We've got 2 full bits of there, so we now need to just move all of the stuff around. So we should be able to meet that goal fairly soon. So I'm just going to keep on going. And we've got things getting made. In fact, let's just sell luxury goods since we've got a bunch of them ready to be sold. Not to anyone here, but never mind. Let's just keep on going, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a problem. A Nubian army is approaching the city and will reach it in 9 months. Now, we don't have much military, and I've only just started copper imports. I don't even have a place to put this copper, which is really bad of me. I should be doing that. So we might not have much military to fend these guys off. We're actually just going to put down an infantry force. See if we can trade someone. Unfortunately, weapons production is extremely slow. Yeah, you're not going to sell me any copper. That's not very useful. Hopefully someone will sell us copper in time. Also, I've gone ahead and put down 3 transport ships, so in case there's any troop requests. Given that that is an option, it's sort of expected that there's going to be a troop request. So we'll just have to see how we do with this battle. Normally I'm prepared by now, but it seems as if this case I'm sort of behind a bit. We were short on a lot of employees, so I just went ahead and put down more housing, and that's sort of helping as well to get everything back on track. So yeah, I'll just come back in when we're near that invasion with whatever army that we have. Okay, so I just wanted to just clarify something. I have reloaded just before the invasion. Unfortunately, the invasion just went to shit because we didn't have our troops prepared in time. And of course, if that Cleopatra bug didn't happen, I would already have a full infantry company. As it is, I had to reload. Got it all started early. Really, the problem on this map is there's not very many export potential on it. It's only a little bit of pottery to one trade route, or a couple of trade routes, which doesn't sell for a lot. And then only 3,000 beer. The remainder of the exports has to come from import-export of flax and gems. That's not going to give you a lot of profit. So what I did have to do is put the pass down as early as I could to get the tax rate going. With that, we now have pretty much constant income now. and the taxes are pretty much covering for the massive amounts of imports. So in a way, the taxation was needed and I did have to increase it. I did reload just simply because we needed more troops. The attack is actually quite large. And I think the problem is that I started to build too much. If you start getting towards 3,000 people, you have effectively lost because you have too many people. You need to keep it towards 2,500 to have any chance of plus taxation as well. That'll help to fund things like your import of copper. If you don't have carryover troops, in my case I ran into the bug even though I did. And just all the industries that you're going to need to support the city. I've moved things around to just get as many houses as I can into the city, moving all the undesirable things down the bottom, having all the houses in there, and it's working out quite nicely. Also got the wood import as well, and that has helped. I think these guys are a bit too busy getting beer, so that may not build in time, which is going to be rather unfortunate. Yeah, but that's not a problem. We get enough figs from these farms that we don't need to produce much more, so the amount of farmland you need is only really this bottom half. You don't really need to build onto this bit at all. You don't need that production capacity, so it's fine. Anyway, I'm on one to the attack. I'm going to have to actually find another place to put this wood, but I will not do that right now. Let's just see. Now we do need dancers for entertainment. So we are going to have to put that down to, but I'll think about that after the attack's gone through, because it is quite a large attack, and of course we don't have academy trained troops, which doesn't help our chances either, to be honest. So I'm going to move the wood over here just temporarily, and we are just going to have it go here. This is only for the warship, not the warship, the three transport ships and the monuments, so I'm not really too fussed about where I put it. I'm going to have sandstone going here from the one quarry, and I'll just have it getting over here. That just allows us to supplant any stone requirements from Pyramus. Alright, here's the attack. Let's see how we do this time around with much more troops than we had before. Okay, we just about got through that. We lost pretty much all of our infantry there. That was massacred, basically. That was just... I don't know why, but that battle is definitely a lot harder than it was on normal. I think it's just because we didn't get any carryover troops. Of course, if I had carryover troops, I don't think that would have gone so badly, but that's the challenges that we have to have. Now, during that, the trade route to He shut down, so we are no longer importing gems from there. We were also selling them pottery and linen, so we're not doing that anymore. I will have to open up a trade route to Kerma if I want to continue to sell linen, but right now we don't have enough to sell, so it's fine. I can just stockpile that for a while. We've got plenty of money. So we do have a few transports. Maybe we'll be asked to send some troops off to He and help out there. And meanwhile, we will just recover our forces as best as we can and see if we can get them back to where they were before that attack, because that was quite devastating. Let's just check the gods. The gods are not too bad, but I think we're going to need to just put down some additional shrines. What I'm going to do is just put down a second sandstone quarry just to make sure that we have a bit of sandstone getting produced. And then I'll just do one shrine to Ra, and then 4 to Osiris here. Let's see. And then that one. There we go. Put down 2 clay pits and there we go. So we'll have some wood production, we'll have some wood incoming, and that'll help as well. We'll start to produce some of that, just in case we're asked to send some troops off to help He. I suspect we will, but we'll keep an eye on it. And we'll just keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. We are short on employees, but that's not a problem. Okay, we've got a troop request here. At least it's only one of them. Because the trade route to He has closed, the Egyptian army is engaged in a fierce battle. Imperious Pharaoh demands that you send troops to the distant city of Het to enter into the fray. Dispatch troops in 9 months. Now let's see what kind that is. Waterborne troops to Het is why we need these. And the coastline on this map has been cleverly devised so you can only get this level of combat power. 3 transport ships, 1 area to cross the Nile because you need to, 2 docks and a shipwright is literally all you can build. And the developers have specifically designed the mission this way to make sure you can't build up a massive army. Now you could get 1 more transport ship if you only had 1 dock, but the amount of water trade on this map does necessitate 2 of these, so it's not going to be too good. What was that I just missed there? A request of luxury goods because we accepted some linen. Yep, we are still getting gifts of linen. We're just exporting that to whoever buys it. Now I think we should be able to get, we've got all of that, so I'll just wait for this archer company to fill out and then I'll just send all 3 people off to Het and they'll embark here. Now they will be panicked by the time they come back because they are not academy trained, but that's not a problem. So I'll come back in once we have succeeded in that distant battle at Het. Okay, an interesting little curse. We have seen this before in the form of a curse that came from Ptah back in Tutmos and Navarre, but here it is properly. A plague of frogs. An ugly curse is descended over the land. Multitudes of frogs pollute our streets and dwellings, forcing residents from their homes. Now we know what this does. It just sends frogs, so these guys are going to go ahead and infest everyone, which is not very useful. Now we are trying to get these guys to embark on the ships, which is taking a while because they are taking so long to get into position. Now, can you get over here quickly? Because that would be really nice. Going to face that way. Get you to embark. Now, so here's the frogs. God, look at that amount of frogs. There's so many of them. They just have to attack it when I'm trying to do something important. I'm pretty sure that's scripted. How long do we have left? 3 months. Okay, we should be able to send them off fairly quickly. This is going to cause a lot of labour problems, of course. One thing to know is our culture rating does require us to provide pavilion access to one of these blocks, so we will do that shortly once we set everyone off. Who are you shooting at? Right. Why are you not getting in the boat? Come on. Get in the boat. It's not hard to embark on that boat. Come on. There we go. Okay, everyone's on. Holy damn, getting people embarked on these ships is really annoying. Well, let's just send off all of those. Could have done that to someone else, but there's really no coastline because I've built up pretty much all over it. So we'll send off those transports to go and help Het. Hopefully they will go and do something. Meanwhile, we are going to extend this road by 1 tile. And support. And as you can see, all the frogs have decided to go down that 1 line of housing. It looks as if a few of them have gone down here, which doesn't help either. And we'll just put that there. That, and the apothecary there. So we'll start to provide dancer access to one of these housing blocks, just because we are going to need that for culture requirements. And look at all those houses completely destroyed. We're shot by so many people now. So we're just going to have to hope that that expires quickly. It's another 2 months. And where is it? Yeah, 2 months. So hopefully they'll get filled back up again very quickly before we start to crash and burn. But we have plenty of income. We have plenty of export potential. We sold very little linen, which is not very useful. Maybe I need to open up this water trade route to Kerma, but I'll wait off on that before we do that. So yeah, let's just keep on going. I'll come back in once our troops have come back from the battle at Het. Well, that didn't take long, but the troops succeeded and we have reconquered Het. Perfect. I'll just go and reopen that trade route to buy some linen. If we can't sell any more linen, I will just open up that trade route to Kerma anyway, which is not a problem. So we didn't lose too many troops there, and it succeeded. So now all we have to do is boost our kingdom rating, provide everyone with dentist access, which we have not done, which is not a very bad idea out of me. We'll just put a dentist there, and a dentist there. And that should provide everyone with access to the thing that they require. Sorry for that noise in the background. The prosperity's met. We've actually met it and exceeded it, but we needed that level of population. We needed that level of housing to get the population. So right now the only goal that I have is to build a monument. We're just going to have to let the people move in. So I'll come back in once we're ready to build the Abu Simbel. I will time lapse it because it is a fairly interesting monument to show. I mean, it is boring, but I'd rather time lapse it simply on the basis of that it is a still existing monument, shall we say. And you only build it once, so we might as well time lapse it. So I'll come back in when we're about to build the Abu Simbel. Okay, so we're about to build the Abu Simbel. I have gone ahead and just stabilised the city just to make sure everything's okay. Population's back up. We've got no unemployment issues, which is good. Normally I run into a lot of unemployment, but that's not a problem. Now, I have gone ahead and put down the carpenters and the stonemasons guild, which is fine. Culture's held back a bit by lack of entertainment, but we can sort that later, because once the Abu Simbel is done, I won't need the stonemasons or the carpenters guild, so that's fine. So we're just going to go ahead and put down the Abu Simbel here. And it's a very boring monument, but we're going to put it down. And it just is a big carving of rocks. It's already sculpted out, so it's exactly like a sphinx. We just need carpenters and stonemasons. So it's time to watch the construction of Abu Simbel. And there we go, we have completed the Abu Simbel. Oh, Royal Mayor Super Sajuuk, this is a truly spectacular achievement. Your skilled labourers have created an eternal monument that boasts of the glory of our Pharaoh and the might of Egypt. And that just looks great, doesn't it? It just absolutely looks so great. One thing I learned from another YouTuber who did this mission, who had been very interested in this particular monument, is that the light would come in right in the east and shine through to a little staff or something that was in the main area on certain periods of the year. I think it was the equinox or something. I don't remember what he said about it, but it would shine there and light up. But of course, when they moved it back up to flood this area for Lake Nasser, it was ever so slightly off, so it doesn't go off at exactly the right place. There's a bit of history for you. Now, what's our kingdom rating like? It's not very well done, but the monument rating will be there. Now, what we have is a big unemployment issue, so we're just going to delete things that we do not require. And we're just going to get rid of the weaponsmiths. Oh, let's just get rid of the stone, the sandstone quarries. We don't need them. We can just delete that as well. Let's put down a juggler there. I can also just put down a juggler there as well. Let's just see. I think the problem is that we don't have enough booths in the city, so we are going to have to just sort that out a little bit. Now, where can I put one? I can put one here by deleting this Shrine of Ra and replacing that with a booth there. There we go. Where else can I put these things? We can put one there right next to the construction. And it actually says here, the impressive figures of our Ramses II welcome all who approach Egypt from the south. And it really does. I actually would love to have been one of the people sailing up here and just seeing this massive crowning achievement, you know. Let's see. So this is all met apart from kingdom rating, which is easy enough to sort. I'll just speed this up, just make sure. Okay, culture's met. So all I have to do now is boost the kingdom rating, which I could do with one gift there, which will bring us up 10 points. I'm just going to take a final save. And we are going to have to wait 1 year before we can do anything. I could have put down the festival square, but I'm not going to do that. So I'll be back in 1 year's time with the completion of this mission. Okay, that's the mission done. So let's just have a quick recap of this city. This came later, but we started over here with our line housing blocks just because there's not enough space on this map. I could have done a bigger block if I wanted, but I think lines work out better on this map than anything else. All of our food down here, all of our barley and beer production over here with our fledgling military industry, and here's the Abu Simbel. The primary point of this mission is to build Abu Simbel, and that's what this mission is named after, is this monument. Just before I came back in, there was a request for sandstone. That will give us a bit of kingdom rating. That was from Pyrames. That happens just throughout. Just make sure you have a bit of sandstone production. And there was a kingdom rating boost for Wast asking for stuff. So in fact, we could just win right now before that ends. So let's just send that off. All of our ratings met. Victory. We have completed the Abu Simbel. It was a bit of a challenge there because we had so little money sources. We were constantly in debt. We had to reload to fight off that Nubian attack that came from probably the main area that you would build in. But we managed to build the Abu Simbel. Let us proceed to conclude the mission properly.
A job well done. Ramses II is quite pleased with the colossal monument that you created in his honor at Abu Simbel.
He should bloody well be quite pleased, and you know, he should be quite pleased with us. We built his famous monument. It still stands to this day, although in a different location, but it's not the point. Got quite a lot of money by the end. I think really the way to solve the money issues is to sort of stockpile a resource like linen and luxury goods and sell it off in one big burst. And then when you get the opportunity, just start taxing. And once you have passed the River of Blood event, you need to start working on your military. In some way, you need to have your military going. You really want to have 2 infantry and 2 archers, or 3 infantry, 1 archers, but you have to afford the copper imports. We took quite well on that, 244 months. I wasn't expected to take so long, but never mind. Anyway, that was Abu Simbel, is how he decides it. If you're head on to the final mission of the Ramses II campaign, click the card on the screen down to Ramses in the Valley, and I'll see you there in that next part. Thanks for watching, see you later, bye now.